early light, what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome everybody to the second annual Wine Country Open. We're here in beautiful Rhonert Park, California, and I am Darren Wong, and alongside me is the touring pro out on the PBA tour, Jason Duran. We'll be giving you the play-by-play for the final 3 matches here of the tournament. So we were just led in a stirring rendition of the national anthem by one of the local junior bowlers here at Double Decker Lanes. Her name is Kayla Yokoyama. Actually, that's Kayla Yokoyama. Should try that
Kayla
again.
Yokoyama, yeah. Yep.
As the higher seed, Gene has allowed Jason to start this match, so it looks like they're ready to go. Please feel free to cheer him on. Just make sure you wait until he releases the ball.
Oh, you want a sheet?
Yeah.
You might. Get the score sheets. All right, we're about to start match number 1. Jason Taylor with the first shot in the left lane. Goes high, leaves the 3-6. Pin rolls around, but doesn't knock it out. Jason qualified 5th for today's TV show. All the bowlers today have completed 24 games on a grueling pattern here at Double Decker Lanes in Rhonert Park, California. Is he preferred to spare?
No problem with the spare. 247 game in the position round.
Yeah, that was
qualified 5th.
Yeah, that was a big match. It came down between him and Brad Angelo for the last spot on the TV show, and Jason came through in the 10th frame with a strike and forced Brad to double to make the show, and Brad wasn't able to come through, so Jason took the 5th spot.
Bowled a good game, 227, but did fall short.
Now we get our first look at Gene Bruihl. He's a pro, actually from this area. He owns a couple pro shops here in the Santa Rosa, Petaluma, and Rhonert Park area.
That's good.
And you can tell by the crowd reaction.
Jason Taylor there.
You can tell by the crowd reaction he is a crowd favorite. He's probably drilled bowling balls for half the people here in the audience.
Yep, pro shop operator, keeps pretty busy around here, I'm sure.
And as Jason
next to him this week and used the Columbia icon for most of the tournament. Looks to have something different out now.
Yeah, it was as you mentioned before, Jason. They bowled all week on the pattern, and now they're starting out for this TV show on a fresh pattern. So they're gonna have to pull out some new equipment and try some new things here.
Just look in the lane a little bit.
And he's off to a quick double.
Always nice to get that quick double. Just a one-game match. Jason Taylor on the right lane now.
terrible break. It looked like a good shot. Could have struck, and instead ends up with a 7-10 split. He picks up the dragon ball to try to make the spare.
One or the other go there, and it's not a big deal at all. But both of them stand up, nearly impossible to make. Goes in the channel there, and now just has to move on.
It's a tough start for Jason. As I see, he's the only player in the field here who does not have a regional title. So he might be feeling a little bit of pressure. His first experience and a chance to win a title.
Only 26 years old, and be a good title to have. Lots of good bowlers this week.
We've got that one a little right. Breaks up the spare. Use a simple single pin spare here. Grabs a different ball. It looks like he might be contemplating a ball change.
Interesting to see if he gets something.
Looks like he's stronger. He might have missed that.
Get something a little stronger and go away from that with a little more angle in the part of the lane.
Yeah. Gene stepping up. He's known on tour for having his pre-shot routine that can take a little bit. Make sure he gets set. He's not going to make a shot before he's absolutely ready. Very fortunate to break up the split. Looks like he got that a little left and broke up the 4-6 to just leave a simple 2-pin spare here.
What's interesting, they probably had a little more room just maybe an hour ago as they were finishing up their match play. And now the shots that are just a hair left are going to hook. Fresh pair.
You bowled out on tour, Jason. How difficult is that to go through an entire tournament kind of playing one shot or having the lanes a certain way and then coming on the TV show and having it a little different?
Well, to be honest with you, it's a little better out there. No problem with the spare because there's a day in between. You might finish up qualifying for a match play on a Friday night. You have till Saturday morning before you bowl on telecast. These guys had maybe 20 minutes and bowled 16 straight games. Went through a lot of changes. So very difficult to determine what to do and to get back to early this morning. We had 8 o'clock this morning to start the match play. To go all the way back to think how the lanes were then.
Right. It's a different mindset. It's almost like you got to think like it's a completely different tournament.
Absolutely, it's just starting all over again. Just another step in the tournament. Left lane now.
Another good break as he trips the 4. From his reaction, he wasn't expecting that ball to hold. Again, he got a little left, but held off and tripped the 4. In the contrast to Gene, Jason doesn't take much time. He's up in the approach and ready to make his next shot. And he has made a ball change, it looks like.
Did change balls, moved a little left.
Oh!
That'll make up for the 7-10.
Yeah.
Pretty good shot. It looked like it was a little further left. Eyes maybe a little further right. A little slower.
Looks like one of Jason's goals in bowling is to be a successful player out on tour, so he's probably planning on going out and giving the PBA Tour a shot.
Only 26 years old. Looks like he's got a lot of good bowling game to do it. Good shot there.
Very good shot. Obviously a good ball change. He's got a better look on the lane now.
Pretty good stuff. That strike got him back into the match, only down 12 pins now. And that unfortunate break in the second frame.
Gene resetting the grip a little bit. Gene was the 1999 Regional Bowler of the Year for the PBA Western Region. He's always been a very consistent player here and has 5 PBA titles to show for it.
A little bit of an unorthodox backswing. He gets it down. First shot.
He definitely proves that there's no one way to get it done.
That's right. Answering the call there, back with the double.
I'm actually a little surprised at Gene's ball reaction here. He usually struggles on the fresh conditions, but maybe he's found a little trick. He's got a ball with a little surface on it. Looks like that might be the right ticket.
Pretty strong ball and lots of grit on there, so tame that back end reaction down just a
Looks like he got around that a little bit.
Fortunate just leaving the 6.
Like I mentioned, Gene owns and operates a couple of pro shops in the area. He's also married and has a son. So he's got his family here in the audience rooting him on.
43,300 games for Gene.
That's amazing. Must be a record or something.
Wild striker. Changes balls.
And
No problem with the spare.
well, that leaves an opening here for Jason. He can throw a quick double here and make it a 4-bagger. It can be a chance to get right back and put the pressure on Gene.
See if he makes a little bit of an adjustment here. That ball came in just a little light on line 28. Was able to shake him out of there.
A little left. Oh! Huge break there as he trips the 4-7-10 out. You couldn't tell there. Did you think he made an adjustment, Jason, or did you just get that little left?
Not sure. Just maybe try to get a little slower. But you know how when you know the last shot didn't hook, you want to make sure the next one hooks. To me, it didn't look like he moved his feet. I just think he consciously made an effort to make sure that ball hooked.
Yeah.
It did.
Just helped it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Here's a big opportunity. I think he can pull to within a pin of Gene.
Big shot here.
But oh, man, yet another messenger. Just demonstrating the power there. Extreme angle from the outside. That ball had to get out about the second, third board down the lane.
Touching the second board down at his break point and made a big left turn.
So as we look at the match, Gene entering the 7th frame. Jason's got a potential 256, and it looks like Gene's got a chance for, is that 247? Is it one pin? Or
one pin match right now. 257 if John is way off there. Perfect shot.
As I mentioned before, this is really surprising. The scores in the morning seem to be a little lower, but this pair seems to be conducive to some high scores.
Players did practice for about 10 or 15 minutes before the telecast started. Try a few different things. Good shot here. This will make an 11-pin match.
Got a hook. Fortunate just to leave the 2-pin. It looked like he lost that a little bit off to his hand and off to the right.
Just a little high in the last frame on this swing. Wanted to make sure that ball got right.
It's amazing the mental battles that players go through, and even though you're not supposed to think about the previous shots, it definitely affects your next shot.
Just trying to make the best shots they can, but absolutely the shots before do affect the next shot.
He hooks at this pair.
Doesn't go to the harder surface ball. Go ahead and hook it at the spare there. No problems.
Now we get another golden opportunity for Jason here to take a commanding lead. He steps up in the 8th frame on lane 28. he's gone a little high, a little light on the 2 strikes on this lane. Let's see what kind of adjustment he makes.
Dial it in here.
Looks a little left there.
A little slow, a little left.
Use the 4-pin. He might be playing that lane a little bit in. Looks like he is got everything farther left on the lane in with his feet there.
Especially with the last shot on 27, that ball, like we said, got all the way out to about the 2nd board at the break point.
He looks a lot more confident in the left lane, and it's interesting that Gene has chosen to force him to finish on the right lane. Maybe he knew that would be the tougher lane of the 2.
Veteran move there.
See that interesting spare ball. There are quite a few unique spare balls that are out nowadays. That one with the picture of a dragon on it.
Novelty balls, soccer balls, footballs, baseballs. A little bit of everything.
Now the foundation frame here to stay within 1 pin.
Ball looked a little left, not nearly as far right at the break point as the last shot on that lane. Trips the 4-9 for the strike. 2-pin match right now on the 9th. That's a big strike, the 9th frame. Possible 235. Jason strikes out. 237 for Gene. Just 2 pins.
This is a big shot for Gene. If he doesn't get this one, he cannot shut out Jason. So if he wants to keep his destiny in his own hands, he needs to strike here.
9th frame can be such a pivotal frame in bowling. Lots of pins made up the last couple of frames.
Looks like a good shot there.
Oh, good shot. 6 takes the 10.
Keep on it. Keep on it. Make him work for it. You got 30 years on it.
Crowd getting into this one. Not quite 30 years, as Gene has about 16 years on his opponent.
Tournament host chiming in back there from the audience.
So with a double and 9 pins here in the 10th frame, Gene could shut out Jason, but he's got to take them one at a time. And he's missed the last couple of times this lane. Let's see if he can dial it in.
Ball looks pretty good.
Oh, leaves a soft 10. It's a good shot. Just couldn't get that same kick of the 6 off the sideboard and to knock out the 10. So he's going to need to make this and get at least 9 to force Jason to get the first one in the 10th.
9 will force him to strike. 9 spare 9 here forces Jason to strike. First ball in the 10th.
First things first, needs a spare. Switches to the harder ball here. Go straight and right at it. Looks good.
No problems.
Still a big fill ball here. There's been a lot of difficulty sometimes in the morning rounds to get 9, let alone strike. So
That is for sure. 8 here would give him 215, and 9 spare strike in the 10th for Jason would be the same score. He would have a tie.
you know, I don't know what would happen in the event of a tie right now. I think it's
It's in the hands of the tournament director.
kind of changed the rules on that. It used to be 1 shot or 2 frames. First things first here. Ooh, kind of fell off balance with that one.
I'll tell you what, I think he missed it at the bottom. Didn't really hit it with the small much because he fell off, but it worked out well.
It's amazing how bowling works that way. He threw a better shot, probably the first shot in the 10th. He got 9. And throws a subpar shot in the fill ball and gets a strike.
Fickle game.
Now Jason with an opportunity to win the match outright. He needs a strike on the first ball. Again, this is the lane he hasn't quite
It's just been a little
dialed
tricky,
in.
hasn't
Yeah.
it?
See if he can come through here. We've got a lot of that one. That was a great shot. That was showing his mettle there. He definitely isn't the intimidated here, even though he is the younger of the 2 and without a title. Now he needs to keep the ball in the lane. This would be an interesting choice for him. If it were you, Jason, would you throw it down the middle, or would you still flirt with that gutter?
Just needs a couple of pins. I tell you what, I'd throw my spare ball hard up the middle. Just try and hit the head pin. You're going to get at least 8 pins. You're not bowling for score here. This isn't qualifying. He's won the match.
Looks like he's going to throw a strike ball. He inched a little left, but...
I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes ahead and crosses over.
Yeah,
that's ball. Well left.
There'd be plenty.
Play.
Yep. And if he finishes up his spare here, he'll shoot 223. Eliminate the hometown favorite. Gene Bruihl gets a nice round of applause from the local fans here.
That's how bowling is made such a good shot there. First ball in the 10th inning, force Jason to strike. Who knows what would have happened in a different situation? You need one strike.
Okay, finishing in fourth place.
Different.
Running a check for $1,100, Gene Bruihl.
$1,100 payday for Gene Bruihl.
Fantastic this week. Nice weekend's work there.
Yeah, number 30.
Actually, well, we have a moment here, and Paul Fleming is stepping up for his practice balls. He'll get 4 balls, and then he'll take on Jason in the second match here. We can run through the prize fund real quick. The winner here is going to receive a $5,000 paycheck. Second, $2,700. Third, $1,600. Fourth, $1,200, and Gene is taking home $1,100 for 5th place. It's a nice prize fund for regional this week. Some added money. Curtis Woods, a local pro here, did a great job getting together some sponsors, and Jim Decker, the proprietor here of Double Decker Lanes, has been very gracious in all the accommodations and making the players feel
really has a good prize fund for regional. Summer tournaments are normally about half of what the money is right now in this tournament. So
a lot of local sponsors here really supporting the tournament. It's just great to see.
first shot, Paul Fleming.
You would think here that it's an interesting mix. Jason has the advantage of being on the pair for a game now and feeling comfortable, but Paul obviously has been out on tour. He's been a former PBA Rookie of the Year out on tour. He's got a lot of accomplishments on his side. So
Team USA for a number of years. Right now, I would say no advantage to Jason Taylor by any means. Paul's look early in the tournament was very, very good. That's how the lanes are right now. Looks confident, looks comfortable. A little scoring issue here.
The manager of the lanes here trying to fix the score. We have arrows reversed.
Back on the right lane.
See how that little delay affected him. Ooh, a little soft look to me.
It's a little slow. Ball fluffed up high. Hit about the highest part of the pocket you can hit to knock them all down without tripping the floor or anything like that.
Jason's showing no fear here. Dispatched a former Player of the Year in the Western region. Now he's taking on the actually now not reigning. He's the former Rookie of the Year. He was the Rookie of the Year on tour in 2001. Oh, 99. Boy, I'm losing track of time.
Another big break.
Huge break there as he trips the floor. I think it could be his day. He's getting a lot of breaks. He threw a great shot in the 10th, but he had some fortunate breaks the first game to get through, and now he's rolled the floor here, the second shot.
It's really good to see him make that kind of a quality shot to win the match. 10th frame. Not comfortable in that lane, it didn't look like. Really threw it good. Here's Paul now in the second.
Just dead flush.
It's just identical shot.
It's just so fun to watch Paul bowl. He's just fundamentally so sound. His game does everything right. If you want to teach someone how to bowl, he's the right guy.
Right out of the book, it looks perfect. Couldn't say it any better. Just how you would want to teach somebody to bowl. Paul spent some time in the gym, works out 4 or 5 days a week. Really good shape.
Looks like he's got a great reaction. He's throwing it very well.
It really does. That ball got a little further right than this first one. That lane, no problem. Just throwing back.
Let's see how Jason responds. That's kind of how the guys play them throughout the tournament. In the morning, they went a little straighter, and as they opened up, they were able to go around a little more.
It's a shorter pattern, so as they break down a little more angle, yeah, to the front part of the lane, but straighter was greater actually. Early on.
Ooh, a lot of room right there.
210, that ball was right.
Looks like he missed right in. Wasn't real happy with how they came on his hand. Make full spare here.
Just clip the left side of the 2, send it in that direction, and hope it does its job. Change balls here.
It's got a chance.
Went for it.
Cost him a couple pins a count. Let's see if that decision might cost him later in the match. On a strike, he loses 2 pins for not getting the at least one.
It's an important shot right here. Coming up with an open. His opponent looks to be very lined up, comfortable and confident.
Once again, he doesn't take much time. He's got an idea of what he wants to do and just gets up there and throws it. Throws it right dead flush in the pocket.
It was great.
He's very relaxed demeanor on the line. He doesn't seem to be rattled by too much.
Not many highs and not many lows. Just even keel. It's important in bowling.
Paul stepping up here on the right lane. As you mentioned, he was a former Team USA member. He also bowled in college for the University of Nebraska.
Looks like he might have stuck at the line a little there.
Yeah, I've noticed he has a tendency to do that, and I don't know if it's on purpose or not. He'll take a little hop after he throws it. Sometimes it happens, I don't know if he just struggles with his footing sometimes, or if it's a result of just so much energy that he uses to throw it at the bottom of the ball. Switches balls.
6-10 here.
Straight at it, little right. Uncharacteristic error, Paul.
When you have your opponent opens for you, you really want to get up there and make 2 good shots. And it could be a turning point in this match. I really thought Paul would respond with a couple of good shots.
It's quickly up on the left lane now, trying to regroup.
Better shot.
Spreads the rack.
He seemed to stay back on the right lane there. Just got a little more tilt with his back.
So Jason House right back in the match. He's only down by 1 pin.
Again, see what kind of shot he makes here on the right lane after the 2-2 combination. Just need 1 shot to go on this lane.
Looks like they're better. Oh. Wow. I thought he threw that pretty well, but he might have made an adjustment for that 210, thinking the lane.
Look to be online.
I think they're starting to go through transition. It's typical after about a game.
It's got to be a little movement down there, definitely. Go for 2 here. Yeah, I think you're right, Darren. I think the lanes are starting to transition a little bit.
Typically what happens in a fresh condition where you've got all the oil concentrated up front and the back ends have no oil on it, you'll see that oil start to kind of get pushed by the volleyballs down the lane. It'll definitely change how the ball rolls and make it a little more tricky to figure out how to get into the pocket.
Left lane now.
He definitely seems to be wired into that left lane. He's actually going to have an opportunity to finish on that left lane in this match, so if he can figure out the right lane.
Paul's decision on who started or who finished the match was strictly his ball reaction. I don't think he was thinking much about his opponent.
I think you have to think that way. I don't think you can pick a lane that the opponent is going to struggle on if you're also going to struggle on your finishing lane.
I agree. Very good shot.
Great shot. You mentioned Paul works out quite a bit to keep himself in shape. I know when he made the show actually at the U.S. Open a few years ago, he actually had a pretty serious wrist injury. And it seems like he's recovered from that, but that was an amazing performance. And in quite a bit of pain, he was able to still make it through and get to the TV show that week.
Determination, I think. He's just a mentally strong player.
Ooh, that's way left.
The ball was left, pushed, and struck.
Obviously, there's a little hole that's developed in that left lane. That seems to be the better of the two lanes to go throughout the match.
Very high scoring condition if both the lanes were like 27. 28 seems to be the only one that will give him the real fit. Very important to strike here, Paul. Back on track now. So what kind of shot he makes.
He looked like he threw that well, made the adjustment for the split, and hit that little bit of hang spot that now seems to have developed in the right lane. And another 210, that's a very common leave on the professional bowlers tour, and here in the region you see that quite a bit.
Especially when the lanes do start to transition, you'll see it quite a bit. Gotta go for it now.
He's got it. He's made it. It's a great shot there. Keeps him in the match, really. I don't think he would have had a chance if he had opened yet again.
You're right. It was over if he didn't make that. And still going to take a little bit of luck here. I don't think Paul's going to make another mistake. I think he's going to make good shots.
The fortunate thing for Jason is he only has one more shot on the right lane, so if he can figure that out, strike on the other good lane here on the left, he's got a majority of his shots left on this one. Oh. Well, he broke up the split, but still left the 10 pin.
If he needed to strike, he's maximum 201 right now.
Running out of frames.
All going at a 225 pace, so.
Not over at the spare. Seems to have lost a little focus with those splits and now being well behind the match. Paul's got a few free frames here. This is an interesting match play decision now that we have our new format on the PBA tour with the single elimination. Paul experiment with some options here, or just try to stay sharp?
I think he'll just try to make good shots. He looks to have the best look on the line of any of the finalists. In my opinion, I think he'll just keep plugging and keep doing what he's doing.
I always thought this was kind of a disadvantage for someone who kind of runs away in a middle match, that you lose kind of some of that adrenaline, that edge that you have, and it's hard to get that back when you got to kick it in and start in the next match.
It really is.
Well, he's got a lot of run left in this lane.
Tell you what, they're going to hit the pocket every ball on lane 27, just a matter of knocking them down.
Paul only made one errant shot at 3-6-10, or we'd be looking at the front nine here.
That's right, possible 265. Paul Fleming. Jason just filling the frames there. Close game, the first match, excuse me. This one here over in the 7th frame.
And he finally figures out the left lane here, or the right lane here in the second match. Jason Taylor, still a great performance this weekend. He'll be taking home
$1,200.
Yeah, $1,200 for a fourth place finish here.
Definitely be seeing more of him. He's got a good game. Like I say, I like that. I like his attitude, the very even keel, not too high, not too low. Doesn't beat himself up when he makes a bad shot. He's right back in there.
Still must have a good showing here. Possible 190. It's that right and leaves the 2-4.
Change balls here and get this down.
So waiting in the wings to meet Paul Fleming will be Robbie Morris. Second qualifier. Step left today. Jason makes a spare here.
Robbie's 20. Man, I didn't think Robbie was any older than Jason Taylor, to be honest.
He's 29. He's been bowling for 25 years.
Start them young out west, don't they?
We'll have to save some of this for the actual match. And he finishes up with a strike, 170 game. Very disappointed probably, but like I said, still a great performance this weekend.
Fourth place, $1,200. That's good bowling. Nothing to be ashamed of.
See Paul finishing up here again, just trying to stay sharp, keep his timing, keep his line solid, and move on to the next match.
A little left there again.
Doesn't quite have the room on the right line, as we've noticed throughout the first 2 matches.
Do you think that was a test shot there? That might have been.
I'm not sure. He might have been checking to see if he had a little room left in his lane.
They're heckling it.
I always thought that was amazing to me when you actually try to miss left, the ball will lay off. If you miss left by mistake, sometimes it will.
One more shot here on the right lane.
Actually, I think his goal there was to practice the 3-6-10.
Not going to make that mistake twice.
His only blemish in the whole game was missing the 3-6-10. There's a better shot.
Game of 242. Ball will advance to face Robbie Morris.
All right, finishing in 4th place from Klamath Falls, earning a check for $1,200. A big hand for Jason Taylor. Come on, guys. Come on, Jason.
Welcome everybody to the 2nd annual Wine Country Open. We're here in beautiful Rhonert Park, California. And I am Darren Wong, and alongside me is the touring pro out of the PBA Tour, Jason Duran. We'll be giving you the play-by-play for the final 3 matches here of the tournament, as we are down to 3 after the players have completed 24 games of qualifying and match play. We're now looking at Robbie Morris. He was the 2nd qualifier, and he's from Stockton, California, 29 years old. And he will be starting on the left lane here as he faces Paul Fleming.
Perfect shot on the left lane. We've seen that all afternoon. These players have dialed the left lane in.
Yeah, in the earlier 2 matches, we noticed that the left lane seems to be the better of the 2 lanes, although Robbie chose to finish on the right. It's an interesting choice there. And now we get our look here at Paul Fleming, who just eliminated Jason Taylor in the previous match. He qualified 3rd. He's now moving on in the semifinal match. A little extra speed on that one. Looks like a little quick. Yeah. Looks like he got a little amped up, like we were mentioning before. He did have a little easier match last match. He might have let down, and now trying to get amped back up, maybe too amped. So he overthrew that one a little bit. Moves the 410. Switches balls to the spare.
Probably will give this a shot and try and make it. Just barely clip the left side of the 4 here. Send it into the 10. First frame, so he's not going to lose any key unless he was to miss the 10 totally. It is 9 out.
As I alluded to in our previous match, Paul Fleming defeated Jason Taylor. The final score there was 242-170. So he got off to a quick start, and Jason unfortunately never really could put any pressure on him, and Paul just kind of cruised to the victory, and now he's up here on the left lane, as we mentioned, the better of the 2 lanes, and see if he can get back on track.
Better speed, a little more angle, perfect shot.
Now we see Robbie, his first attempt on the right lane. Robbie's going a little more direct. He used a little bit of loft to keep the ball in line, so he's a little farther right than Paul, so he's a little shinier.
Interesting, he was lofting the ball a little bit towards the end of the day, and I thought it was just to get the ball through the heads a little bit. Surprising that he's using the same ball with the loft. Looks good.
Very good shot. The tournament so far has been our tournament leader, Mike Tountas, pretty much ran away from the field, and then Robbie was pretty much alone in 2nd, so those 2 players seem to have the best reaction all weekend, and Robbie showing why he was the number 2 qualifier.
Looks to have a good ball reaction, keeping the ball on line very, very well. That's important on these patterns. Almost the less you do, the better.
balance. Leaves a solid 10. Still a good shot. Got it in the pocket, but nice. Going to grab the spare ball here.
Just the ring and 10 there, the 6 exploding up over the 10. Not doing its job, but shouldn't be a problem.
See his football here. There's a football inside of the clear bowling ball he's throwing. The unique spare balls that we have available.
Hard and straight.
Oh! Very unexpected mistake there. It's a huge opening for Paul.
Just don't want to give Paul much room. Paul made a mistake in the first frame. Can't count on him making many more. He's gonna make good shots.
Be interesting to see if Paul makes an adjustment or realizes that he probably didn't throw his best shot in the right lane. Softened up a little bit. Softer speed. Much better shot. The 10 out. He is back in the lead now.
That shot looked to have a little bit of. I think he's got that look back from the first match. A little intensity there on that shot. That was to even the match here. Actually taking 2 from lead. Up there on the 4th frame, left lane.
It's kind of ironic. The ball he's chosen to throw here is easy money. He could be on his way to easy money with the way it's rolling down the lane.
Easy money. Come on. 4 pin only.
Looked like a very good shot. He actually seemed to get that right even quicker, but really caught a lot of it. So that ball really charged hard on the back end.
Really cleaned out his hand, yeah. A little more angle. That won't be a problem.
When I say caught a lot of it, I mean that got quite a bit of hand action, got a little extra rotation on it. That ball grabbed the lane a little harder.
Hard and straight at the 4, no problems.
And we'll see how Robbie regroups. He left the 3rd frame open. He's stepping up in the right lane. Robbie has won regional title. He won that back in 2001 in Fresno. He has some good lineage behind him too. He is the son of women professional bowler, Hall of Famer Benny Morris.
Ball's left.
A huge break there as he goes Brooklyn. Seems to be a little rattled by the fact that he missed that 10 pin. He's still thinking about it.
Just gotta let it go. He made 3 perfect shots, hit the pocket, rang that 10. Just made the one mistake of missing it.
It's one of the biggest things I really think that separates the great players from the average players is the ability to focus in the moment and not let what's happened or what's going to happen affect your thought process.
Absolutely. It's not that you're not going to get upset. You can do that. You can get upset. But when it's time to get up there and make the next shot, your mind has to be concentrating on that. Ball's a little left as well.
He's the 4 pin. Because he's chosen to go a little direct, a little more direct than Paul, he doesn't seem to quite have the room to miss.
Yeah, I agree, Darren. It's almost as if lane 27 isn't any easier for him than lane 28 is because he's playing them so different.
He's choosing to throw a strike ball here, or at least not switch balls. He may still go hard and straight, but interesting decision. I didn't watch him shoot many spares over the weekend. I don't know if this is his normal routine to throw a strike ball at left-hand spares.
He is hooking at it.
He makes it.
And I wonder if that had anything to do with the spare ball.
Might not have felt comfortable with the grip or something. As Paul steps up, his usual routine to blow in the thumb hole, get a little moisture in there. It just makes it feel a little bit tighter. So he's got a chance now to take a quick lead here.
Looked quick.
He didn't like it off his hand, you can tell. He just didn't quite feel like he got all the proper hand action on it. Now he leaves an 8-10. Very unexpected, I have to say. You expect him to, after being down in last game, to just continue to strike.
I sure did too. I thought we'd seen the last of the bad shots. That one looked like he got his weight out in front of him again. He did that with 1 shot in the front and the game before.
Throws it hard at the 10, trying to knock it out. Does not. So he is now got
actually giving the lead back to Robbie.
He's down by 2 pins now as he steps up in the left lane here. As we mentioned in an earlier match, Paul, one of the reasons why we don't expect him to make mistakes is his game is just so fundamentally sound. Everything's in the right position, so it's very easy for him to repeat and make good shots.
Left lane now, his favorite of the two.
Oh,
Good break. The 7 gets out, no problems.
definitely looks like his ball is not making the same motion to the pocket. That one, after the 4 pin, he might have tried to get it to go a little longer and went a little too long like the 10 pin.
Again, just a little bit of carry down, a little bit of extra oil down there at the back end of the lane, being traced down there by the ball themselves. Hard and straight.
And he makes a spare. You'll notice the players are competing on lanes 27 and 28. They were not used at all today during the match play portion, so they are freshly oiled. They had about 15 minutes of practice. Now we've had 2 matches on them, so there's some transition going on. The players have to make the adjustments.
Players got started this morning at 8 o'clock, 16 games, lunch break. Robbie Morris right lane. Good shot.
Plays off, strikes, looked a little bit left off his hand, but was able to use that extra loft and speed to hold the line.
Yeah, I think you're right there. The last 3 shots, I think, have been on target.
As we mentioned, Robbie's 29. He's been bowling amazingly for 25 years, started when he was 4 years old. And he really, I actually grew up bowling juniors with him, and I really can sense that he's on the verge of breaking through. He's won his first title, like I mentioned, last year, and it looks like he's going the right direction with his bowling career.
Almost a huge break there. Actually, a very good break, getting the 10 pin out, leaving the 4 alone.
I actually saw Robbie in the locker room before the match started. He was looking for some stuff to put on his thumb. He said it was swelling up, and he seemed to be hanging up a little bit. I don't know if that's a product of the heat today or bowling so many games, but it doesn't seem to be quite with a clean release.
Players were a little bit warm all weekend at the bowl. So yeah, your thumb is going to swell up, and especially after this being maybe his 20th game of the day, including practice balls. Definitely going to swell up.
Wheeled that one in, wasn't quite sure it was going to get there. Once again, Paul steps up with an opportunity to grab the lead on the right lane. See what kind of adjustment it makes. As we mentioned before in previous matches, Paul is a former Rookie of the Year on the PBA Tour. He was named Rookie of the Year in 1999, and former Team USA member.
Better shot, perfect shot on the right lane to Paul Fleming. It's a 12-pin match right now. Paul is down. Hit it with a 2 here.
He has a possible 225. Probably possible 227.
Again, very close. 8th frame, very important here. Very important shot.
Paul does get to finish on this left lane, which has easier to get to the pocket for the players. A little harder, a little straighter.
Interesting. Got the job done, though.
Not sure if that was by design. It seemed like he went a little right and tried to firm up and take the line out of play.
The line just a little bit there, and really did have a very straight angle to the front part of the lane.
Let's see how Robbie responds now.
It is a 2-pin match now. Robbie Morris on the right lane.
Got a little more on that one.
Didn't quite seem to get out as far on the lane as his shots.
I was going to say, it looked like he actually got out of that cleaner and caught more hand action, and that actually made the ball hook more.
I agree. It was a good shot off his hand. Just had too much rotation. As you mentioned, he might be having some problems with his thumb. Not getting it out of the ball as cleanly as he would like.
3-6-10.
This doesn't have to be the easiest spare. It can be a little tricky, especially on these patterns.
Looks like he's going to hook at it, and from the right side. A very interesting choice. He chops the 3-6 off the 10, and that is a huge, huge opening. It's very unusual to see pros shoot right-hand spares down the right side, especially when there's a chance to chop it like you do with the 3-6-10.
Yeah, if you're not throwing your straight ball, I mean, that's one of the first things you learn in bowling when you're shooting a corner pin spare or a corner spare like that, is to give yourself a little angle.
That might be another evidence of the fact that he's not comfortable with that spare ball. Maybe it's just his thumb swelling or whatever's going on with his thumb hole. He just can't get it to feel right. He's forced to throw a strike ball for spares.
To have any chance in the match here, this is great.
He recovers, gives himself a chance. He can still go off the shoot for 203. Paul going at a 205 pace. huge shot. As you mentioned in the previous match, the 9th frame is so pivotal, especially when you're on a double. If you don't strike in the 9th, you lose 20 pins off your score as a potential.
So many pins made up in the 9th and 10th frames, and as you said, with the double going in, very important. Make your best shot here.
Looks like a great shot. A lot of emotion from Paul. He's a very flamboyant player. See him bring that shot out. He used quite a bit of motion for the 9th frame. Sometimes that can be detrimental in the 10th.
So as we said, he's just going to come back down here, concentrate on the 10th frame, lane 27.
See if he can regroup. He's, as we mentioned, got a possible 225. He gets 9 spare strike. He'll shoot 204 and shut Robbie out.
First strike here will shut Robbie out as well. Paul seemed to, the last couple of shots, I thought he hit that one on 28 really fun as well, but it seemed to move right as well too.
Yeah, and obviously being a player who bowls regularly on a tour, that's one thing that comes with the experience is knowing how the lanes change and how to make the adjustments. He obviously believes that going a little farther right and a little straighter is the key to take some of the lane out of play.
Big shot here, first shot in the 10th.
Come on, baby.
Real aggressive. There's a 10.
He didn't make his best shot, I think.
He was
looking at his face.
Looked like he was very conscious and throwing hard and didn't quite catch it all.
Really wanted to get it down there, you're right. You could tell he wanted to really get the ball down the lane.
Now, if he makes the spare and strikes, he can still shut out Robbie.
9 spare 9 would be 203. And that is the score Robbie Morris can strike out to match. So first things first on the 10 pin here.
Uh-oh.
Look out.
A little bit of a drop there, but his arm swing being so perfectly straight, got the ball still going in the right direction. So now the situation, a strike here, he shuts out Robbie. 9, there's a possibility of a tie. 8, he could lose.
I guarantee this ball will have some speed on it as well. Probably just going to try and hit the 1-3, hope they all go.
Come on, Paul.
It's got a hook.
Good shot. Paul thought he had it there. I'll tell you what, he shot 203. Situation as this. Robbie Morris needs all 3 strikes in the 10th to tie. 3 strikes in the 10th to tie. If not, he can take his 3rd place check.
That's one of the things that happens when you take the rate of going a little straighter, a little harder. Sometimes you don't quite get the pin carry.
Don't quite get the angle, you're right.
And the shot could mean the difference of $3,400 because the 3rd place winner is going to take $1,600. The winner advances with a chance to win $5,000 as Robbie needs this one to stay alive.
A really good shot. It looked like he got out of that as clean as he did the frame before.
Looks like he might be getting the feel. Maybe just having sat on the wings there waiting caused his thumb to change a little bit. Now it's finally got comfortable.
As Darren mentioned, 1 regional title. Still, though, this is a big regional. To be honest with you, it's bigger than most. Lots of great players, obviously bowling against Paul Fleming, tour national player.
Left.
Look of relief on Paul Fleming. Paul Fleming's face. Robbie will take 3rd place, $1,400 payday, is that correct?
$1,600.
$1,600.
And he'll finish up with a spare here, 192.
Very good tournament.
And that sets up a title match between Paul Fleming and Mike Tountas.
It'll be interesting to see how Mike plays the lanes. He's been
All right,
going
have
with
a
a
big hand
lot
for
more
Robbie
angle,
Morris.
lots
Finishing
more
in
hook
3rd place.
than the other
He gets
players.
us to $1,600. Robbie?
All right, we're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be back for our championship match right after this. In beautiful Rhonert Park, California, we're about ready to start our title match of the 2nd annual Wine Country Open. The winner here is going to take home a first place check of $5,000, the runner-up for $2,700. And it's going to feature our tournament leader, Mike Tountas, who pretty much ran away from the rest of the field here as he qualified first. And Paul Fleming, you see stepping up, he qualified third, won his first couple of matches, and has earned the right to advance to this title match.
Here we go, first frame, Paul on the left lane. Perfect start.
We noticed last match Paul was going a little harder, a little more direct. I don't know if that was a product of his adrenaline or by design. It looked like he softened up a little right now.
He has definitely got it back to the right a little bit. Those last couple of shots, right on the range, were missiles to the pocket.
Now we get our first look at Mike Tountas.
Let's go with a little more hook this week, a little more angle. As you see here. That's the kind of ball reaction he's had. Perfect strike there on lane 28.
Mike is 35 years old. He's an interesting story. His father, Pete, actually owns a bowling center down in the Tucson area. That's one of the longest running tour stops we've gone to. And, Mike, as I understand, bowled out, at least was a PBA member a few years ago. And, took a hiatus for a little bit and now has rejoined the PBA. But he did win a regional title back in 1992, so he's looking now for his second regional title.
Second shot on the left lane here.
He's got a hook.
A little extra right and scattered him for a double.
It's a quick start for Mike. See Paul Fleming stepping up on the left or the right lane here. As we've seen throughout the day here, the right lane has been a little bit trickier than the left.
Nothing tricky there. 10 straight back, perfect shot, answers the double. Back to the left lane.
Opportunity here. We would like to thank a lot of local sponsors. Curtis Woods, actually a fellow PBA member, did a great job of organizing this tournament, getting some local sponsors out here to add to the prize fund.
Good looking shot.
Perfect. Looks like Paul's back on track. He shot a very nice 240 game his first match in defeating Jason Taylor, but it looked like he struggled a little bit last game. I don't know if, again, that's a letdown and having to restart kind of got him off his game, but it looks like he's back on it now.
Fortunately for Paul, didn't really need a whole lot of pins that second game. He was able to not bowl his best and still be okay. Mike back on the right lane now. Oh, see some strikes here.
Well, Mike's showing the reason why he led this tournament by, I think, a couple hundred pins at least. He's just got a great ball reaction. He's had great ball reaction for most of the tournament.
As we mentioned earlier, the only thing that I was surprised with was some of the spare shooting. Didn't look to be as sharp as he would have liked.
Yeah, Jason, you actually crossed with him, and you mentioned that he was struggling a little with the spare shooting.
Yeah,
I guess when you strike as much as he does, you don't need to be too concerned about shooting that many spares.
Nice problem to have when you're making up plenty of pins.
Oh, very good shot that leaves the 7, and we will get an opportunity to see him shoot a spare here. He has his smiley face spare ball, one of the other unique spare balls, but looks like he's going to choose to go with the strike ball.
I think he's going to hook it at this. I did see him in practice shooting a 4-pin, or it might have been a 7-pin. And he did hook it with his strike ball, so.
Jason, that's actually pretty unusual. Most of the guys, especially the touring players, yes, he did hook by it, and that's just the problem with it.
And that's why right there, Darren, you're right.
I was going to say, most of the touring players choose to go straight at spares because there's so much unknown going across the lane that the hooking the ball, it's too unpredictable. If you throw it straight, you know what it's going to do.
Hard and straight, just got to get it going right at the pin. It sounds easier than it really is sometimes. Big opportunity for Paul now in the right lane.
almost the identical hit that Mike left the side pin. Let's see how Paul handles. And he will switch balls and go straight at it.
Exactly right, Darren. Same exact hit on the right lane that Mike had on the left. Same result. Paul will go hard and straight. Right at it.
That is one of the unique differences in the strategy in a one-game match or in a single elimination format like we have for the title here as opposed to qualifying. You know, your mistakes that you make throughout qualifying in a long-distance marathon type format can be covered up, but in a one-game match, you don't have as much time to make up for those types of mistakes.
Just 10 frames and bullet against a player of Paul Fleming's caliber. You can't afford to make mistakes.
Right back in him. Kicks the 10 out. Obviously, he's got his carry angle back. He was struggling a little bit with that last game, leaving some 4s and some 10s, but he's made some sort of adjustment. It looks like both speed and some hand release adjustment just to get those corner pins out.
He really looks comfortable out there, hitting the pocket consistently on both lanes. Just a matter of knocking him down.
See how Mike responds now. Back up on the right lane.
Big frame for Mike here, back on track here.
Oh.
Just an incredibly powerful strike ball there. You saw the head pin just whip off the sidewall and take care of the 9.
We were mentioning some of the local sponsors here. The local Saturn dealership has been very gracious in their sponsorship. In fact, there was a new Saturn View out in front. Got to take a look at that. Very nice. And of course, Jim Decker, the proprietor here at Double Decker Lanes, just did a fabulous job making everyone feel right at home and making the players feel very comfortable and treated very well. Very similar to the shot he had in the last lane, going light and tripping him out, but still leaving a corner pin. This time the 10, as he now does switch to the smiley ball. Hopefully he'll be happy after his spare attempt here.
That looks a little right. Just hung on.
Paul stepping up again in the right lane. As we mentioned, Paul was a former Rookie of the Year out on tour. He's yet to win a title on the PBA Tour, but it's just a matter of time. He's
That's right.
Such a good player. You just know that at some point he's going to break through.
Big break there for a double, tripping the 4 and the 10 while creeping up high.
That was a big break because he tripped out the 4, 7, 10. And with a strike here, he could take a commanding lead in this match.
22 pin lead right now. 7th frame, left lane. This has been his better lane.
Paul resetting. Wasn't quite comfortable, and that's just a good idea to definitely don't want to make a shot until you're absolutely 100% committed to what you want to do.
Very big. So many players would just go ahead and make the shot and have an awful result. So it is important to get yourself reset if you're distracted.
Ooh, a lot of extra speed. See him kind of, almost the same hit he had on the right lane a couple frames ago. And you can see how much energy he was using there. He actually hopped as he threw that ball.
Same exact shot, you're right. Ball just coming in a little bit late. Gets a little behind that head pin and just slaps it against the wall.
And once again, switching balls, going across the lane, straight at the spare. As I mentioned before, he doesn't have a PBA national title, but he does have some regional titles, and his goal is to win a national PBA title.
Right at the 7, no problems.
Looks like we'll have a little bit of a delay here as he's created some dead wood, the pin in the gutter. It's actually, if the ball or pin were to hit that, it would be a 0 for the frame, so it's important to remove that dead wood off the lanes. We get our look at Jim Decker, the proprietor here, rolling up his sleeves and doing some dirty work, going and getting the pin.
Receiving some heckling from the crowd here.
He just wanted some TV time. Careful out there. Once again, it'll be interesting to see how Mike responds to this little break mentally in the match.
As we said, Paul Fleming is lined up. He's hitting the pocket every single ball. It is very crucial right now for Mike Tountas to start striking. He's been striking all week.
Mike's hit the pocket also every shot, but the difference in this game so far is spare shooting, and actually that's what Mike mentioned as his goal for today, is to make spares.
Oh, trips the 4 there. That's a good break.
It's amazing. They both almost identical games. He's rolled a 4, Paul's rolled a 4. They both had a couple
Slasher
breaks.
7s.
Yeah. And like I said, no difference in the spare shooting. Mike's other personal goal he's got down here is to pay for his trip, so I think the $5,000 will definitely go a long way for doing that. He is from Tucson, so he had to take the flight up here, but I'm sure it's going to be well worth it if he can go ahead and win this title.
Huge shot here now in the left lane.
A great shot, just threw it dead flush.
Can't get much better than that. That was perfect. In a pretty crucial spot in the match now.
You see Mike has a potential 247, and then Paul is taking a re-rack. Paul is a possible 238, I believe. If I'm adding right. 258. 258. So Paul still has the upper hand in the match. Paul obviously didn't like how the pins were set. Jason, what do you typically look for when you're kind of looking at the pins and how they're set, and what determines a re-rack for you?
Well, the most important thing, I think, is the pocket. If the pocket looks a little shut down, if the head pin's a little right or the 3 pins a little left, it just doesn't set up good for the eye as you look at it. Or if the 6 and the 10 are sitting in weird spots as well. A little quick there.
Yeah, you can see he missed a little right and a little quick, as you mentioned. And now the 2-8-10, almost an impossible spare to make here.
Almost just has to go for 2 here, Darren. No time in the match to try and get crafty and make an almost impossible spare like the 2-8-10.
As we mentioned, the right lane has been a little bit of a trouble lane. It's got a little bit of a hang spot where the oil is going to push to the player's break point. And if you catch that the wrong way, it just doesn't grab the lane.
He'll take 2. Possible 234 now for Paul.
It's amazing how quickly scoring changes in bowling. Because now the best possible score for Paul is 234.
A minute ago it was just 258, so 24 pin mistake there if he were to strike out.
And now his destiny is not in his own hands. He needs to strike here to keep himself in the match. But
huge frame, Darren has to strike here. Foundation, 9th frame.
Again, this is his better of the 2 lanes.
Come on, buddy. Yeah.
Made a better shot there. Really made a good shot there.
His reaction there showed that he was a little frustrated with the 7 pins he left earlier. Finally got that one out. Now, Mike Tountas with a chance to actually lock out Paul Fleming.
9th frame here, very important. Carrying the double into the 9th, as we talked about earlier.
Exactly. If he doesn't strike here, he actually can't shut out Paul on the 10th. So he needs this one to have that possibility.
Looks good off his hand.
Oh, just cannot throw it any better than that. He's showing why he's led this tournament pretty much from wire to wire.
Just incredible, Darren. As I was crossing with him, I was looking at the score sheets, and it didn't seem to add up, but he was doing a lot of striking. Possible 247.
And this one here, actually, he just needs a mark.
I think a strike in 8 locks it up.
And that should do it. That is a great shot. Just absolutely dead flush. Well, I guess he is proving.
Absolutely perfect.
I guess he is proving if you throw enough strikes. Spares, wouldn't recommend that for those of you at home, but I guess.
Spares obviously very, very important.
He's making up for it with his incredible strike ball right now.
As we said, he's struck so much this weekend.
And this also goes to show just the amazing thing about bowling, how you can do it 2 different ways. Mike's just a large man. He takes 6 steps actually to get from the approach and just knocks them all down.
There's your winner, Mike Tountas. Will throw his field ball here, 247.
So I was saying, it just kind of proves that any person, any size, any shape can be successful at bowling. It's an amazing sport.
Really is, yeah. Football players, you've got to be a certain size, a certain height or weight. all kinds of bowlers.
Just dead flush.
That just caps the weekend right there. Would have knocked 20 pins down.
Yep. And a sign of relief from Mike Thomas as he wins the second annual Wine Country Open, takes home the $5,000 first place check, and I think that will pay for his trip home.
I think he accomplished his goal.
Paul
just finishing up now.
As you can see, it's just
just seems to have lost a little bit of his reaction. I didn't think that shot there was as bad as the one before.
It's just amazing the slight difference in how they throw the ball. All of a sudden, Paul's ball is reading that little bit of oils down the lane, and Mike just hooks right through it.
He's going to show a little bit of his athleticism here.
Throwing it left-handed.
Interesting, Mike Tountas also finishing with the same bowling ball that he qualified with, so obviously was comfortable, had a good look for the entire weekend.
How about a big hand for both these great players?
We have our final score of 247 to 198. Looks like Mike Tountas gets to take home that nice trophy and the champagne.
Before we get to the presentation of their checks,
A glass of champagne or a bottle of champagne on ice
I'd
over
like
there
to
waiting
get
for
Mr.
him.
Dicker out here.
Now we have Mike Fredericks, the
Jim, on behalf of
director of
all
the
players,
Western region, presenting Jim
present to you
Decker.
and your staff. Wonderful
Flag
job
of appreciation.
once again. We really appreciate it.
Really was a
It's a
nice
great
place to
place to
come.
connect to.
Curtis, as you mentioned earlier, does a lot of work getting extra sponsors and added money into this,
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Curtis Woods.
as we're
He did
hearing
a
here.
great job getting all the sponsors for this tournament. With all the sponsors, this tournament is the largest prize fund on the West Coast for a regional.
As we mentioned, the great sponsors here, Saturn, Ebonite,
Okay, and I'd like to
the
take this
Sonoma
opportunity to
Title
thank
Company.
the sponsors. We have 20 sponsors at this tournament. It's
Oh.
great. Sonoma Title Company, Ebonite,
Running through a list of the sponsors now.
Saturn and Santa Rosa, Custom Design Countertops, Elf Electronics, Johnson Appraisal Service, Pacific Gold Properties, North Bay Construction, AG Spanos Company, Don Ramachi Insurance, Atlas Tree Surgery, Mike's Burgers, E-Cell Direct,
Mike's Burgers, some of
Van
the best
Koon's
burgers in the
Glass
area.
Company, Stevenson Supply and Tractor, Classic Sports, Quinzo's Subs, and Steve Conway. By the way, Steve got just certificates for all the finalists at Outback. Okay, and a special thank you to Joel Daw and the Daw family for that great dinner that they put on Thursday night. Joel Proctor bring all the food and water in at the paddock. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to let Jim give out those last couple checks. Obviously, with Curtis's support, he brings on all these great players. From Bedford, Texas, he's the 1999 PBA, not regional, PBA National Rookie of the Year, earning a check for $2,700. How about a big hand for Paul Fleming? And now for our champion. He's from Tucson, Arizona. He now has 2 regional titles. His first was back in 1992 in a major event. It was in Vegas at the Players Classic. So earning a check for $5,000. Have a big hand for Michael Tountas.
Open bar! Open bar!
Who's driving the airport? I am not good with speeches. I do want to thank John here.
Jimmy,
Excuse me.
John, Joe
This is my
Bob.
first time. Billy Bob. We're in Northern Cal. Billy Bob.
I'm related.
And Curtis, I owe you now. You did a great job.
Thanks, buddy.
We appreciate it. Next year I'll come Thursday for the golf tournament.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
Great, all right.
Yeah, while he's still up here, they were talking about dinner. We had dinner certificates, compliments of Outback for first place.
Compliment to Steve Conway.
Steve Conway. There's yours. Paul? First and second, $75 certificates. Third, fourth, and fifth each got 50. Gene's still here.
You're not getting out that, Steve.
Is Jason here?
Curtis will take it.
I know Robbie's here. Ooh. There you go, Robbie.
I'll take Mike to the airport.
Have to be sure and get Jason's to him. Again, on behalf of all the players, we want to thank you for coming out. This is great. This is like a national event with all the support, the fans, the big pro-ams. They had a great time last night, other than the one little incident that we had to kind of slowed our start down. But this is as good as it gets, and again, thanks to Curtis, Lindsay, Darren. You guys do a great job. I'm looking forward to seeing the tape. As I understand it, we're all set for next year, right, Curtis?
Yeah, we're in there.
All right.
Lindsay, you want to
Jill, and put that